Yeah, Michael claims he buys all her clothes, he buys everything. And that's what he said to me and Ayan. And me and Ayan looked at each other like, this is bad.
Virtual reality.
Hi, I'm Danny Murphy.
I'm Evan Real.
And I really thought we could make it the rest of the year without saying the phrase Scandoval. But unfortunately, we're back here again. Well, we're back here again. Ariana's in Fiji, living her Love Island life. But Tom Sandoval is, I guess, living a courthouse life and is now suing her.
Yeah, I know. It's so confusing and it's so frustrating. And I feel so bad for Ariana. She is trying to live her best life in Fiji hosting Love Island. I think she is living her best life hosting Love Island in Fiji. Like, she looks great. Looks like she's having a whole lot of fun. So it must have really sucked when she saw the news that Tom Sandoval is trying to sue her for, I guess, let me get this right. It is for accessing explicit videos of Rachel Raquel without authorization, which I guess what he's trying to say here is that basically he had video footage of Rachel Raquel doing some sexy things on his phone, the things that Ariana discovered that ultimately led to the breakup and
But
Scandoval.
also, weren't those recorded without Rachel's consent? Because that's what she was suing for, that Tom did that without her knowing. So he's trying to like sue the sue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, that makes no sense. Like, you started off with the shady behavior. At the end of the day, Ariana was just a girl who needed to know what was what and figure out what her man was doing when she couldn't see him. And so I
Legally
don't know.
Blonde 3.
What?
Oh, that's Legally Blonde 3. Like you just wrote it. A girl just had to know what was what. Your Honor.
Legally Blonde 3. Yeah, I mean, look, like, I feel really bad for Ariana because she I think what he alleged is that she texted the videos to herself. And I think in that moment, if that had been me, I would have too, just so I had the proof in my hands. And I think this is also like a really tough thing because the laws of revenge porn, like, you and I couldn't even begin to explain them. I don't really know what is legally correct and what isn't legally correct, but clearly this situation is so messy and I don't know, it just seems ridiculous to
What
me that Tom Sandoval would even revive it in this way. What is he?
what I don't get, especially because I can see him reviving it for attention and to make Ariana's life miserable. Like if that makes sense for me, that's something he would be spending his summer while not filming doing. But what I don't get is if he's suing her saying this, because I don't think the Rachel case has been settled, wouldn't this be him admitting guilt in that? So like that's I don't get how he's not getting himself into trouble with all of this.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Maybe you should write Legally Blonde 3, Danny. Look at you. But what I do love is that obviously Katie Maloney has her girls back and she clapped back at Tom in an Instagram comment. Now, I'm not gonna paraphrase it. I'm just gonna read it directly. What she said, authorized permission. Interesting choice of words, pal. Anyways, you suck, dude. And then a fan said, I wonder if he had authorized permission to screen record the video in the first place, which we were kind of just talking about. And she responded, no, he didn't. But he did share his phone's passcode with his partner at the time. Man's confused about how that bit worked, I guess. Okay, that makes sense. Like, yeah, she had the password, so she accessed what was inside his phone. So that seems like authorized permission if you shared your password with your partner, right?
Exactly. And I guess it's almost one of those things where they say, like, if your name isn't on a mortgage, but you've lived there for enough time, some judges will be like, that's your property too. More modern judges. Maybe it's the same with phones. It's the couple phone. Who knows? But what I do know is I think this is ultimately going to be Sandoval playing himself because now he just admitted that he had revenge porn on his phone, which I think he was trying to deny or something. And we still got a Katie Klopek, and Ariana is living continuously her best life. I think Love Island has to end soon because she's due back in New York in August for Chicago.
Yeah, Love Island wraps up next week, and I'm so sad because this season has been so good. I've been a Love Island fan for so long, the UK and the US version. And even the UK, it took until season 5 for it to really kick off and become that girl overseas across the pond. And I feel like Love Island USA has finally hit that moment with season 6. there was something about the UK season 5 cast that was so magical, and you have that same energy with the season 6 cast. You are rooting for so many of the girls. You are so frustrated with so many of the guys. It's just like I'm so invested. It is all that I think about, and I think there is like some Ariana magic
Well, you were
too.
just saying also too, you root for the girls and you eye roll at the guys. I'm like, that's Ariana's life. So she's like a perfect host for this.
Totally. It feels so natural for her. Like when she comes to host challenges or host recoupling ceremonies, you can see in her face like she's really reacting from a place of experience. And it's also really interesting to see Ariana in this role because I feel like past hosts, they've been pretty unbiased. And I'm not saying that a host should be biased, but it's kind of nice to see this sort of like telepathic connection.
Mm.
Ariana and the women who are scorned by dudes who make dumb decisions on the show.
Wait, has Katie made her cameo yet?
Katie was on an episode of After Sun, which is like the weekly recap episode. So she was out here sharing her hot takes. And Miss Katie, she has hot takes
Oh,
about everything.
yeah. Wait, but while you had a kind of an after sun of your own because you got to chat with one of the ladies.
Yes, I chatted with Dea McGee. She was a Casa Amor girls, one of the Casa Amor girls. And so if you don't watch Love Island, basically towards the middle of the season, Casa Amor happens, and the guys and girls, the OG guys and girls, they're separated, and then they meet new very hot guys and very hot girls to tempt them, test their relationships, test their connections, and then basically they can come back to the main villa deciding to stay loyal to their previous partner or to bring back the new dude or chick that they met in Casa Amor. And Dea made a connection with Cordell, who, as everyone knows, is Odell Beckham Jr.'s younger brother. He was coupled up with Serena, but he and Dea had this like intense physical chemistry connection that he didn't necessarily have with Serena. Serena's just like more of a slow burner,
Okay.
but she comes back to the villa. The girls are not very warm and welcoming to her, the OG girls. And then a few days later, there is a social media challenge where the Islanders are clued into what fans are saying about them online. And
Worst
one of
nightmare.
I know. Can you like even imagine? And I feel like Dea had the worst nightmare of all
Yeah.
because there were these alleged comments and likes and social media activity on Odell Beckham Jr.'s Instagram page. And so people are like, this girl is using Cordell to get to a celeb obsession, Odell Beckham Jr. But chatted with Dea, she set the record straight. She said that's not the case at all.
I was really disappointed that that comment even got brought up because I feel like if they fact checked it, they could have easily saw it was a photoshopped comment. Like it literally, I posted this on my story, so if anyone wants to go look at it, it'll be in my highlights. But there's like hearts on the side where you can like the comments, and my comment, it's like a half heart. Like it's very clearly photoshopped. And I'm like, you guys didn't think to check that before like adding it in there. And a lot of people are like, well, you were crying already before she even read it. And I'm like, do you guys not understand in production, like especially challenges, we have to say the thing like 4 times in 4 different ways so that, the camera can make sure they picked up on it. I heard that tweet multiple times before my tears started coming down. And like, even when they said like Odell Beckham, like Cordell stood up immediately and he was like, it's obviously about me. And if you look at the tweet, it says like, threw away all his morals. Well, they're obviously not talking about Serena. They were talking about me. It's like not that hard. And then my excuse was that like, oh, I'm pretty sure like the only comment that I've ever like would have liked or commented of your brother in it was like my ex went to dinner with him. And I was like, and I don't think your brother posted it. I think my ex posted it, and maybe I commented. That was like the only thing in my head that I could pull, like that I seen him in a photo and commented or liked. And then people literally found my ex-boyfriend, my recent ex-boyfriend, and they started dragging him and they're like, he doesn't have any photos of like OBJ on there, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I literally put it on my Instagram story this morning. I was like, I'm 27. I have multiple ex-boyfriends. This is from 2016. And like, I showed them the photos. There had 3 photos of him with his brother. They're not friends. They just happened to be at dinner together. And there's literally 3 images of them together on my Instagram story. If anyone wants to go look, it's in my highlights. So,
Well, I'm glad you helped her lay it all out there, and I hope she does find herself some love. But yeah, like you said, Love Island USA, I think It's been like the most streamed, I don't even think reality show anymore, like just show, which is crazy. So I can't imagine Peacock changing the formula or the sauce for that. And I feel like cameras are going to go up very soon for them to continue doing it, which is something we can't say about all the shows we love because we have been enjoying this season of Jersey. I think it's been very fun, very juicy, very short because it's already almost over. I think Bravo execs, well, I don't even think, we know, a change is going to come because Andy even said we're aware while doing his radio show and that they're chopping some stuff up.
Is it not time for a rebrand? It is time.
Yes.
I think it's time to do what happened with New York, bring fresh faces in. That said, I love the Rachel and Danielle combo on New Jersey. I love that they're fresh and young. They're funny. And Jen Fessler even, I love there is positive energy.
I agree.
There's all the negativity from get rid of all the others. Set them free. Let them move on to the new.
We're going to figure something out. We're all on the same page. How about that?
Yeah, I think this is very much needed.
I think so.
Because, as we've all been saying, the show is not sustainable the way it's going. But I do think it's also very, very devastating because for so many years, New Jersey stuck with the same cast. I mean, they did add Rachel Fuda and Danielle Cabral in recent years, and I think they were two great additions to the show.
Andy agreed with that, yeah.
Necessary additions to the show. But for a while, it was the same cast for so many years, and people really loved that cast. People were so invested in the Teresa and Melissa of it all when they were getting along, when they weren't getting along. And so it's just sad that it's, most definitely ending as we've known it for so many years. If you could guess, Danny, if you could just choose yourself, would you bring back some of the current cast with the newbies Atlanta style, or would you RHONY reboot it?
I think I would want to bring some of the girls back and maybe see if they can expand their friend group a little bit. You know what I mean? I don't really know who would be the ones that would be the perfect comeback. I know I'm going with what Andy was saying, where he was like, oh yeah, Danielle and Rachel have been really great additions and they're friends, which is great, but then they would need some people to not be so close with, where I think they could maybe flesh some stuff all out and around because we really have just started to get to know them, which could be really interesting. You know what I mean? What are you feeling?
Yeah, I think they would be two great people to really sort of base a new cast around because we have the familiarity of Rachel and Danielle. Like you said, they are friends. We need girls who actually are friends. And then if we could add in some girls, not to sound ageist, but they are younger. And I do feel like as these shows are being retooled and rebooted, they're going with younger girls because not to be morbid, but we all only live so long.
Okay, okay.
You know what I mean? So I do think that if they were trying to make the show younger, Danielle and Rachel would be
also because those two have been having such good seasons respectively. Rachel's been going at it with Teresa. Danielle, every week she says something that lives rent-free in my brain, where this week it was, by the way, you look like shit. The week before that was, I pray God spares her family when he doles his karma out on her. The week before that, you're dead. She's really been giving us memes for eons to come. So I think they're in such a good reality way to keep it going.
Totally. I mean, if you could only choose one or the other, Melissa or Teresa, to come back, who do you think would make most sense?
Well, it's hard because Melissa's closer with both of them. And I do think if there is, I don't know, I feel she would be more game to play with some of those ladies or not. Because, if Teresa comes back and it's Teresa and Rachel, just from what we haven't seen this rails go off the rails dinner, I don't know if they can be in the same space too. You know what I mean?
No, that wouldn't be the Real Housewives of New Jersey. That would be a celebrity deathmatch.
Truly. What I always hoped would be more with Jersey is because there is a lot of Jersey sports teams. We're close to New York. I want some WAGs in the mix. And I don't know why they don't do that. Maybe, I don't know if the WAGs aren't wagging their tails with a chance or opportunity, but I feel that kind of seems like a no-brainer to me.
It feels like a no-brainer, but I think that producers might have some PTSD from Tracy Johnson.
Well, I mean current wags.
Danny, that was okay. That is a great distinction. That's a good distinction. Okay,
I mean, I'm not a, I don't even, not a poodle. I don't know if their tails are wagging. Her tail never wagged because she never was married to an athlete. A former. And I'm not going to say that acronym.
okay. Okay. All right.
A former athlete's girlfriend, you know.
So some practicing wags. I think that would definitely make sense.
Yeah, I feel it could just be a little more fun. And also I feel that they could, you know, like getting a glimpse of like, because we want to talk about like lavish Jersey vibes. I feel they have lovely houses. They have drama. They have family. You know, everyone there.
Yeah. Okay. Andy, I hope you're listening. Get the wags on.
Andy, come on. Let's get to moving. And also, I mean, I don't know, maybe they could find someone who has a sugar daddy. Because we learned this week, allegedly, age is nothing but a number when it comes to potentially being a sugar baby.
I think Caroline Stanbury is she's 48. Okay, so she's 48 and allegedly sugar babying. No, I don't want to give it too much air, but because I don't think that she's sugar babying. Caroline Brooks definitely thinks that she's sugar babying. She said that Michael, who we've seen on the show, she claimed that Michael, who we've seen on the show, who Caroline and Sergio lived with for a little bit while their new house was being built, is footing the bill for pretty much every aspect of her life.
Speaking of that house, you did say that you heard a little something from a little talkative Michael.
I didn't hear it once. I heard it like 10 times.
So Michael, how is Michael buying their house?
I don't know. Michael's basically Caroline's sugar daddy because at this point, let me explain something. Yes. Michael gets drunk. We all see him on nights out in Dubai. Ayana and I saw him not long ago out on a night out in Dubai. We were on the Palm, and I forgot where we were, like one place in the Palm. And Michael was super drunk, and he just started spilling. And I was like, what? And he was like, I pay all the, because Michael was really angry with Sergio. And he's like, I pay all the bills in that house. I pay for everything.
Like their new house?
Like everything.
How does Caroline know Michael again?
I don't know. They're friends. But yeah, Michael claims he buys all her clothes. He buys everything. And that's what he said to me and Ayana. Me and Ayana looked at each other like, oh, this is bad.
And if that is true, Caroline, teach me your ways. That she has a sugar daddy and also a hot young husband. If anything, that'd be I would tattoo that. That'd be my job. Like that'd be my badge of honor.
No, I would be so proud if that is the case. If that was the case, it's truly so admirable, so remarkable, and we could all learn so much from.
We could all learn so much, but what we could really learn this week is how to be a ride or die friend, and we're gonna learn that from Tracy Tutor, because when we brought up, because this was filmed before her and Brooks did Watch What Happens Live together, we brought up this, and she really had her clapping of backings ready to come at Brooks with this accusation. Do you love like going to the clubhouse? Is that just a party and a half?
It's so fun. I mean, you know, they asked me for my drink order before I even get there, which is awesome. Because you know I'm going to have a tequila soda, you know, just to get warmed up, a little lubed up before you get out there. And because you never know what's going to happen on that show. No.
Especially because, well, I'm laughing because you're doing it with Caroline Brooks.
Yes.
Who, are you up to date with Dubai?
Oh, I'm almost up to date,
okay.
But I am very, very good friends with Caroline Stanbury. So her and I had a couple of words earlier, just, you know, just to keep things in check, make sure that, you know, the other Caroline behaves herself. No, I'm sure it's going to be so fun.
What did Stanbury say? What was the warning she gave or the advice she gave you?
She was obviously, I've watched quite a few episodes, so I mean, you see it play out live, but I think, you know, the other Caroline Brooks may have made a few statements that were, you know, not cool, i.e. I've heard those words before from someone on my show. Josh Flagg.
Yes, you have
that word in particular.
That exact word, come to think of it. So, but listen, you move on from it, and I think Caroline Stanbury's moved on from it. I guess we're gonna have to kind of wait and see what happens. Because I don't know if Brooks knows that I'm good friends with Stanbury.
Oh, she'll find out tonight.
She'll find out. And I can't wait. It's such a, I don't know if I'm allowed to spoil things at Bravo for you. It's such a perfect episode for you to be on because let's just say they're calling into question how Caroline Stanbury affords her house.
Oh, yeah, that's such nonsense, by the way. Caroline has worked like almost her entire life. The idea that someone would say that about her is so insulting. And if she goes there tonight, she better watch out. To me, when you start talking about someone's work ethic and what they make and whether or not they can afford their house, like that's like over the line. That's like talking about your kids. Like, watch your mouth.
That's maybe more insulting than the C word in your opinion.
I think so. I mean, I use the C word with a Y on the end for fun. Like, I'm not that offended by it, unless you call my daughter one.
Oh, fair divide.
Right?
I mean, it made sense that Tracy had that opinion. She's a self-made woman. She is obviously a very good friend. So, like she mentioned, coming for someone's livelihood and the way that they make their money, it's kind of like the ultimate insult. I mean, what do you think? Would you rather be called a "see you next Tuesday" or have somebody make fun of the way you make your money? Honestly, call me a "see you next Tuesday." Make fun. I don't care.
I was gonna say, the way I'm like, if I had money to have people wonder how I got it, I don't really care. If I was laying in bed next to Chanel and Birkins, all right.
Right.
You know what I mean? I would love for that to be my issue. Because I feel I probably get called to "see you next Tuesday" behind my back, and I'm in Saks off Fifth. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, I got to get some things in check. So I hope one day, Stanbury, to have your saga of life. That is the God's honest truth.